Welcome back to my workshop. Now today, very quick little project. What I'm going to try and do is convert a couple of normal canvases like this one into hardback canvases. Let me explain. Okay, so we bought a couple of canvases. These are normal artist canvases and they're obviously on a wooden frame like this, which means they're a bit more flexible. Now obviously the person who wants these wants them to be a bit more solid. And now the reason they want that is because they're going to do some artwork using staples from a staple gun like this. Okay, so basically they need something a bit more firm to actually staple into. So my idea is I'm going to open these up, try and keep them as clean as possible. And I've got a couple of sheets of MDF and I'm going to basically reframe these canvases. Okay, so the first thing I've got to do is open them up and get the old canvas off. Okay, so it looks like the easiest way to do it, obviously I've got to get these out without damaging either the canvas or myself. So the easiest way to do it is just get under the staple, lift it a little tiny bit, just using a normal flat-headed screwdriver. Okay, then a slightly bigger screwdriver to lift it up a little bit more. Okay, then a small pair of pliers and basically roll it out if I can. There you go. Right, a little bit of dirty damage there. I better clean my pliers first. Right, so I've managed to get all the staples out without too much damage. There's obviously little holes where the staples were, but my intention is to put the staples back where the original ones were. Just a tip, make sure you keep all of the old staples and throw them in the bin, because the last thing you want is one of these on your worktop and you'll end up ripping the canvas. That's bad. Right, next thing is take the canvas off and then put it to one side and keep it clean. Right, let me put it somewhere clean. Right, so I've put the canvas somewhere clean, leave that for a minute. Now the frame. Now it looks like the canvas was the only thing holding this frame together. It's got these joints on the corner, but there's nothing actually joining them together. Okay, now what I want to do is, because my MDF is 12mm thick, what I want to do is cut 12mm off of this, so the end thing is the same thickness as the original. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set up my table saw and quickly cut 12mm off all the way around and then reassemble this. Okay, so I've decided to do this on the bandsaw instead of the table saw because it's quite thin wood. I've just set this to 12mm to the outside of the blade, and then I'll cut on the inside of the frame. Okay, right, here we go. Okay, so that's now 12mm thinner. What I've got to do now is cut my MDF to the same size as this, and then tack this to the MDF. Okay, so I'm lucky enough that I've got a table saw and a bandsaw and all the sorts of saws, but you can do this obviously with even just a jigsaw or even a hand saw. But it would take a little bit longer. For me, it's easier to do the table saw and a bandsaw, but whatever suits you. Okay, so now I've cut my my backs, or actually it's the front. Now that should fit on here, which it does very nicely. Okay, so what I've got to do now is tack this to the framework, but first of all, make sure it's square with the square. Lovely. Right, so what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a nail gun. Okay, you can use just some tacks and a small hammer, but whatever you do, it's got to go slightly below the surface because this is the side that's against the canvas. Okay, so this has got to be below the surface. Also, if you do use one of these, make sure that the brads you use don't come out the other side. All right, so I've got fairly short brads here, and what I'll do is I'll quickly fire some of these into the frame, making sure it's nice and sturdy, which it is. Square, 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 square. Okay. Okay, and then I'll put some more around the edges. Okay, so that's now on there. So we've now got basically this. What I'm going to do is, because now there's a sharp edge all the way around the edge, I'm just going to quickly run it along with a plane. Obviously you don't need to use a plane, you can use some sandpaper or one of these sanding blocks just to take the rough edges off. But I'm going to use a plane because I can. Okay, so I now have my frame. The edges have been rounded over so it doesn't cut into the canvas. What I need to do now is get the canvas and lay this in the canvas. Where did I put it? Okay, so now we've laid our new board on top of the canvas. The canvas obviously has been folded over previously, so you can see the fold lines. So all we've got to do is line up this new base with the fold lines and then restaple it. Now I'm using one of these, which is quite a heavy duty stapler. It's got this size staples in it, which is pretty much what it was used before. So all I'm going to do now is start folding over one side and get some staples in it. Obviously the corners have been folded before, so let's see how they naturally fold. There we go, easy peasy. And then put a couple diagonally across the corner. Okay, and then carry on along here. Another one here. Right. Okay, so that's all the staples in. Ironically, this is going to be used as something for staple art using a staple gun. My staple gun is playing up, so the staples weren't going in far enough, so I've had to hit every single one of them in. Never mind. Right, before I put the last edge on, what I did is I quickly turned it over and had a look to make sure there was no creases or rolls in the fabric, and then obviously pulled it back and stapled it. Right, that's the first one done. Quickly do the second one. Okay, so that's it, they're done. They're nice and solid now, so they can be used for the staple art. Nice bit of 12mm MDF. They're quite heavy, so they'll probably need some brackets on to hang onto the wall. Hopefully I'll get to see the artwork after it's finished. All I've got to do now is wrap these up and give them to them as a present. So these are for Tony, so hopefully Tony will do something nice for us. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Hope you picked up some nice little tips here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hopefully I'll be out. Let's stop that one.